Welcome to this event. There will be a lot more people that will be joining us shortly. We're going to be making a big announcement today. And if you're just now joining in, put your information in the chat so that we can get to know you better. For those of you that I don't know, my name is Terry Maxwell, and many of you here experienced your own, what I'm calling a purposeful awakening. Mine occurred in early 2008, and shortly after I sold a very successful business and started over with this crazy single idea that there had to be a way to both make money and do good. That was my crazy idea, is there has to be a way to do that. There has to be a way to do that. I sold the business that I had. I started over with just a single idea. And I don't know if you remember when you had your purposeful awakening. You might want to put that in the chat as well. When did you kind of wake up and thought there has to be more to business and life than just career and money? Feel free to add that to the chat as well. And over the last 15 years, this crazy idea for me led to what's called Share on Purpose. And it's a group. It's kind of like a purposeful Shark Tank. So we have an investment arm, and we started a series of companies, all with this single idea that there has to be a way to do good and make money. ShipCo is our fifth concept, and we launched that in 2020. And again, as you're joining in, feel free to put in what your purposeful awakening was, where you realize there has to be a way to do good and be successful. I know we've got Ryan here from Earth Hero. I remember him talking about his purposeful awakening. And it's big when that happens. You know, life is not the same. Like, it's this line of demarcation where nothing is the same after that happens, after you're really spurred on to this idea that there's got to be a way to do something that's meaningful, something that matters, and make money. Well, for me, this awakening happened in 2008, 2009, and it led to what's now the Share on Purpose portfolio of companies. The interesting thing is I quickly uncovered about a year into it that I wasn't alone. So now I'm going on my 14th year, and a really good friend and client introduced me to an organization called Conscious Capitalism. So this was early 2010, Carrie Freeman Parsons. We went to breakfast and she said, "Terry, I'm seeing all your posts about this awakening that you had. Do you know there's this organization called Conscious Capitalism?" So this is now 13 years ago, and we're all like that. And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Again, this is 13 years ago. And as I started attending some of what they were doing, I realized that this was the cusp of a global awakening, because Conscious Capitalism is a global organization. And I wasn't this single person in Dallas who, sold everything in my business and started over. That there was actually this group of people, companies of all sizes, that were having the same awakening. That led me to meet people in Small Giants and B Lab and Good Must Grow and the American Sustainability Business Council and BSR and Social Venture Network. And of course, now ShipCo is part of that community. And I'm absolutely amazed when I meet new conscious leaders and conscious entrepreneurs, that they don't know that this global community exists. They don't. When I said, "Well, have you heard of Conscious Capitalism?" That was the first one that I heard. Like, no, I haven't heard of that. And, well, have you heard of B Lab or B Corp? No, I haven't heard of that. And I'm blown away. And I was even more blown away last year when I was doing some research for ShipCo's impact report. There's an estimated 582 million entrepreneurs globally, 12% of the population, according to Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. The ongoing research suggests that around 10% of all entrepreneurs, if asked, would consider themselves a conscious entrepreneur, meaning they want their business to do good and they want to make money. 10%. Well, that's 60 million people, guys, 60 million people. If they knew this definition exists, existed, that they would consider, yeah, I want to do good and make money. And so the research is overwhelming. And here we are trying to make the world better, and we don't know each other exists. When I spoke in Europe a couple of years ago, and I was talking about the rise of conscious business, the vast majority of the people I spoke to did not know that this existed. When I speak in city after city about these topics and how do you authentically grow a conscious business, they look at me like, wow, I can't believe there's somebody else, as if I'm a singular person. They don't know that all of these other organizations exist. And so when we formed ShiftCo in 2020, I had this idea that what if we collaborated with all of these other organizations and actually elevated the awareness of this conscious business movement? What if we actually started working together? Nobody's one thing, it's not ShiftCo or this or that. What if we actually just started working together to grow this movement? And the time has come to do that. I'm so excited about this. And before we talk about what this means and what's coming, and more importantly, what it means for each of you that are listening in or will be listening in on the recording, I want to put this vision into perspective. So if you're attracted to this movement, you probably believe in your business or the business you work in that there has to be a way to do good, okay, and make money. And I believe that elevating the very nature of business and ensuring that business is conscious and purposeful is how we make the world better. When our business becomes better, when the businesses around us become better, that's how we make the world better. If you think about that, if we were to grow awareness of that idea, wow, how powerful would that be? So maybe you can think for just a second about how your business makes the world better, and put that in the chat, because I'd love to know that. I'm going to be saving this chat and send it to all of you. How does your business make the world better? Sometimes we forget that in the hustle and bustle of growing the business. So that's what we're talking about. What if we actually collaborated? How do we advance this movement and attract the millions of entrepreneurs and leaders out there who believe, as we do, if we can elevate the very nature of business and actually work together, that's an easier way to make the world better. That's what American Sustainability Council did when they started pulling together companies focused on sustainability. They said, let's work together. We can do it better. Well, I want to broaden that lens and say, what if all of the organizations that are committed to this conscious business movement, what if we collaborated? What if we shared ideas? What if we actually truly worked side by side to grow this movement? So there's 3 core ideals, and then we'll talk about what this means for all of us on this movement. So 3 core ideals. The first one is the best way that we advance this movement is through business growth, which is not the same as traditional business growth, hyper growth. So if our conscious businesses are growing, that naturally extends credibility to this movement, to this idea that you can do good and make money if our businesses are growing. So that's ideal number 1. So the concept of business growth in this vision is important, because that's how we will advance the movement. It's through growing our businesses individually and collectively. So that's core ideal number 1. Core idea number 2 is I believe that entrepreneurs can add fuel to this movement. They can take this movement to the next level. If you think about it, from the Industrial Revolution, air transportation, technology, internet, health innovation, there's been 10 years of health innovation, clean energy, it's a long list. What would happen if we mobilized entrepreneurs, mobilized them, aligned with them to accelerate this conscious business movement? And the third one is collaboration. What's needed more than anything is to band together, connect our networks, learn from each other, and grow together. I believe we're not just stronger together. I believe we are better together. And if these three ideals make sense to you, thumbs up. Feel free to comment on the chat. For those of you that joined late, put your contact information in the chat. We'll send out the chat to everybody. We're talking about who our business is, how we make the world better, what we believe about conscious business. And these ideas that we advance the movement through growing our businesses, all businesses of all size. Entrepreneurs, if we add entrepreneurs and we really engage them and enroll them in this movement, they can help move it forward. Again, entrepreneurs have always been at the forefront at advancing any major societal change. Why not this one? And then third is collaboration, that if we actually work together. So again, thumbs up if this makes sense to you. So through the last year, as we were growing ShiftCo, I focused personally and Share on Purpose focused on expanding connections, building relationships with these other organizations. And that has led to a partnership with other organizational leaders to join forces on a massive collaboration focused on doing good business in better ways, So it's huge. And you're going to hear from a couple of the people that adopted this idea early and are going to be part of the first step of this movement. Now, I want to be clear, this is not another organization. It's not another business. It's not a group. It's a collective of organizations that already are doing their own piece, and we're just going to start working together. It's a commitment to join together to advance this conscious business movement through growth and through business growth. So again, we're not starting another organization. We're just bringing together organizations that are already doing good for their members, for the folks that they're partnered with. And we're just going to have a series of ways that we work together, which is very, very exciting, to grow the movement. And if you just think about the power of that, I want to learn from the people in conscious capitalism. I want to learn from the people in American Sustainability Council. I want to learn how to build a better business through B Lab and B Corp. If we came together and collaborated, just think of the good that we can do. So we're launching this collective of organizations, and the collective is starting to grow. It will launch in the spring of 2023, and we're going to collaborate to hold a series of events. So I'm going to talk about the first event, and then I'm going to talk about some of the events that will spring out of that one event. And it's not a ShiftCo event. It's not a conscious capitalism event. It's a conscious business growth collective. It's a collective of organizations focused on conscious business growth. We're calling it the Conscious Business Growth Summit. There'll be a series of these, first in the United States and then globally, and I'll talk about that in a minute. This will launch this spring, and other organizations are coming together as co-creators, equal partners, and we're focused on scaling our businesses consciously and collectively, basically collaborating to grow. So this first event, as I mentioned, is going to be in spring. Those 4 organizations that are co-sponsoring this event as equal sponsors. And it is 100% dedicated to the idea of growing the conscious business movement by growing our businesses and focusing on how to do that, growing ourselves and working together, which is very, very, very exciting. And then after this first event, it will be followed by events. Actually, let me talk a little bit about the 4 partners here in a minute, but there will be events in other cities. I'm going to talk about that in just one quick second. Dallas, New York, more cities. And we'll be partnering with other organizations. And this collective is going to come together in a grassroots way, bottoms up. I'm talking to the Private Directors Association, the Dallas chapter, about doing an event. The National Foundation for Teaching Entrepreneurship is already signed on for Dallas. So we're coming together in city by city to basically share ideas of how we grow together and learn from each other. Now, for this first event, there are 4 co-creators that signed on for the first event, and I want them to talk a little bit about in a minute why they signed on, who they are, if you're not familiar. So Be Local Los Angeles, Andrea was one of the first people that I was introduced to. And when we connected, she was like, Terry, this is great. I want to be a part of that. I want our organization to be a part of that. So you'll hear from Andrea in just a second. Conscious Capitalism, LA. When I met Rocio, I felt like I'd met a soul sister, and she and her collaborator from that chapter will be talking again. This is grassroots. Good Must Grow. Heath is not here today, but I'll kind of introduce his brand. He's going to collaborate with us. And then, of course, Shifco. So there'll be 4 equal partners in the first event, and then city by city, we'll be partnering with other local grassroots organizations that are on the forefront of this movement. And again, the goal is we want to grow awareness. There's 60 million entrepreneurs. The vast majority of them, probably 59 million of them, do not know that these organizations exist. So we're going to be coming together to grow awareness of this movement. We're going to be coming together to talk about business growth, that we grow the movement by growing our businesses. And we're going to talk about the power of collaboration, which is exciting. So to kick us off in alphabetical order, Andrea, you were again one of the first people that signed on to do this. I'd love for you to share a little bit about you and your background and your chapter, and then why this made sense to you to be a part of.
Awesome. Thank you, Terry. I am so thrilled to be here with all of you today, and I apologize. My voice is a little raspy as I am getting over one of those many bugs that is going around right now, but that will not temper my excitement, to say the least. I am Andrea Chase. I'm the executive director of Be Local Los Angeles, which is the nonprofit affiliation of certified B Corps in LA. I co-founded this nonprofit about 8 years ago, dedicated with the mission to advance knowledge on topics of sustainability benchmarking to businesses and students in our local area. So this was one of the reasons why it made so much sense to partner with Terry and other folks that we've actually been partnering with in the community locally for many, many years to bring to life some curriculum, benchmarking, ways to grow your business, and really tie that into a way that you can take home tangible things that you can put in place within your business by the end of our conference together, which was really exciting. So we had to jump at the opportunity to come together to share the knowledge about B corporations, to share the knowledge about business benchmarking, how we can help bring this to life for all of you, whether you want to be a B Corp or not. There's so many different ways to activate this, and really how this can fuel your business in the future. And I have been doing sustainable business benchmarking for my entire career. So this is a personal passion of mine, and we're very, very excited to bring this to life with all of you. I think I covered it, Terry. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, you did great. And I was really encouraged in our first conversation. I thought, yeah, we're on to something. So thank you for answering the call and wanting to be a part of this idea, and, really just coming together and just the collaboration. So thankful. And then Conscious Capitalism, I think both Rocio and Lisa are both here from the LA chapter. Again, this is grassroots. We want to do it at a grassroots level. I'm not sure if Sebastian is here or not, but Rocio and Lisa, same thing. Tell us about you, tell us about your chapter, and tell us why this made sense to partner in this way.
Fantastic. Thank you, Terry. I'm not sure Rocio made it today. She ended up having a conflict, but I'm Lisa Shank. I'm Rocio's partner in crime here at Conscious Capitalism. I was actually the founder of Conscious Capitalism Los Angeles, back in 2014, and Rocio joined us very shortly after, and we've worked with Be Local in the past as well. Hi, Andrea, one of our favorite other conscious organizations here in LA. So I found out about this event through Rocio, who's part of Shiftco and is really excited about what's happening there. And we have at CCLA always tried to partner with other conscious organizations, because to Terry's point, there's so many people that are looking for this now, this connection, this inspiration. And we're all trying to do it And so why not do it together? A long time ago, we realized, why are we like cannibalizing each other's audiences? We should be working together. So this event is a perfect opportunity for us to do what we're trying to do, which is to inspire, educate, and then activate conscious leaders in Los Angeles. Conscious Capitalism is a global organization. As you heard, Terry's involved with the Dallas chapter, but there are about 40 chapters worldwide, most of them in the US. It's based on work that done by Raj Sisodia and John Mackey from Whole Foods in like 2010-ish. And they wrote the book, Conscious Capitalism. If you haven't seen it, it's great. Gives you a sense of what they mean. And just to give you some context, 4 things that are really the focus of conscious capitalism are having some kind of higher purpose, which is really a lot of what Terry's been talking about, but a little more than that, also a stakeholder orientation rather than just shareholder orientation. So sort of everybody matters. One of the other books that Raj Sisodia has written, if you're interested. And then conscious leadership and conscious culture. So in my work as an executive coach, I spent a lot of my time trying to help leaders of organizations that didn't intend to be conscious, make them more conscious. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Terry. I hope I covered everything you were looking for, but happy to go on if you have other questions.
Yeah, I think the one thing for both you and Andrea, one of the exciting things about LA and Dallas too is in LA there are an estimated 100,000, could be as much as 120,000 entrepreneurs that, if they had the definition, would consider themselves a conscious business. In addition to that, there are larger organizations, the ones that you work with, who realize that they're conscious, and now they've got to kind of go back and rethink some things. So for both of you, I know you guys have collaborated a lot. When you think about growing awareness, not just coming together, but growing awareness, because we're going to be doing PR for this, we're going to be doing advertising. Like, what we're really wanting to do is to grow the awareness that that your organizations exist, that SHIFCO exists. And when you think about just the magnitude of that in just the LA area, have you thought about that idea, or what does it mean to your organizations to grow awareness of the fact that this movement exists? Because when I go out and talk to people and I ask them, they haven't heard of SHIFCO, they haven't heard of conscious capitalism, they haven't heard of Be Local, they haven't heard of American Sustainability Council, and it blows my mind. So I'd love for the two of you to comment on that. Then we'll talk a little bit about Heath, and then we'll go forward and give some of the specifics of what to expect and how it can help the folks tuning in.
Maybe I'll go first, Andrea, and then hand it off to you. But, for us, we've used our events to build awareness, to build our mailing list. And we're always thrilled when somebody has heard of us, right? We know that we don't have the bandwidth alone to create the kind of awareness that we're looking for, which is really that everybody should know we exist. And it's not so much about conscious capitalism, because who cares really about the organization? It's about the principles, right? And to know that there is a place where people can come together and talk about these things. One of the things that's the most gratifying is when young people come into our event space and say, wow, I didn't know there were conscious businesses like this. That's what I want to do. I want to be part of that. So we like to build awareness across the spectrum, although most of our community are entrepreneurs and many social impact entrepreneurs who really already have this message. We want to get the message to larger businesses who haven't thought about it, but who have leaders who do care. On that note, Andrea, anything to add?
Yeah, just to build off of that, I think in general, awareness about the conscious business community and the impact-driven, mission-driven business community is crucial for the growth of the community, not only because of the exposure to folks who might not have been aware of this, but also giving people real tools, real things that they can embed within their business that is going to drive impact, that is going to drive growth within their business. And I think we are so lucky, in the not that long, but 12 years that I've been working, we're seeing a huge shift in consumer demand towards these things. So it seems like the right thing to do is now being rewarded by voting with your dollars every day, as conscious consumerism has really, really shifted. And folks are now seeing this as table stakes and needed in every business and not just nice to have. So it's really time for us to step up together to meet the moment, to prove to consumers that we're not greenwashing, to prove that we're building a better tomorrow together for them as well, which is going to ultimately be rewarded in business growth. So the growth of our awareness is ultimately going to feed into the growth of our own businesses, which I think is just a beautiful thing. And another reason why we've just loved partnering locally with these folks that you'll learn a little bit more Good Must Grow as well about, and conscious capitalism over the years, because it's just been such a way to elevate all of our brands, to elevate our larger mission, which is to make sure that business is not only benchmarking to do better, but is making a positive impact on stakeholder welfare.
And I'm really glad you brought up the conscious consumerism, because that's a great way to introduce Heath. And he couldn't be here today. He's under the weather. But 10 years ago, Heath started a research study, and this will be this 10th anniversary that will be coming out here shortly. And he's been tracking what he calls the conscious consumer spending index. And basically, it's whether or not consumers make true purchase decisions based on whether or not they're buying a sustainable product. And his research has been fascinating. I've been following it for probably 9 of the 10 years. And I always find consumer behavior is a bit of the canary in the cave. Like, you can really start to tell how things are shifting based on consumer purchase decisions, and you can see it. And last year, the data was overwhelming. The number of people that came out of a global pandemic and started making different choices. I would imagine inflation has probably hampered that a bit. But I also believe that this movement is here to stay. So Good Must Grow and Heath Shackelford, they will be the third partner, so the third co-creator of this first event and this collective of organizations that we're building. Again, it's not another business, it's not another community. It's a bunch of co-creators that are bringing together the power of their organizations. And then ShiftCo, I'm happy to partner with some of the other coaches and leaders in ShiftCo that you see on the right. It's a vision, and we just simply are dedicated to helping our members grow. We measure our success based on whether our member businesses are growing. As of November 30th, 81% of the members using our platform had doubled their income since joining, which is something we're very excited about. So we'll be the fourth co-creator in this initiative, and there will be others that we'll be talking about. So this is a budding partnership, and it is going to be around conscious business growth in a series of events. I'll talk about some of the other markets that we're going to do. We are dedicated to doing massive amounts of PR and advertising to grow awareness of the conscious business growth movement. And we're looking forward to collaborating with other organizations, city by city, state by state, to grow this idea. We are looking at the following cities to do events. So we're going to start in LA, obviously, in late March. We're looking at Dallas, and I'm talking to partners in Dallas, and the National Foundation for Teaching Entrepreneurship is already signed on. So I'm very, very excited about that. We're also looking at London. ShiftCo has a great community in London, some very, very successful entrepreneurs that are part of that hub and are growing that hub out there. So we're looking at London. New York, of course, we're hoping to do something in New York, either in June or September. Seattle, and then Toronto. So those are the ones that we would like to host events in next year. We're looking to partner with grassroots organizations. They can be part of a larger organization, but we're really looking to work with local chapters, local hubs, local community. Like in Dallas, the National Foundation for Teaching Entrepreneurship, we're going to be working with their South region, which is based in Dallas, and other organizations like that to come together. There will be speakers that'll be giving practical ideas on how do you grow authentically, how do you scale authentically. There will be roundtables where entrepreneurs and business leaders will collaborate, of all sizes, will collaborate to talk about the challenges that we have, and in the conflict that we're in on a global level, how do you manage that? How do you manage the talent shortage when you're trying to do good and make money? That's a challenge. So these roundtables will discuss those things, and we'll be coming together to do that. So what's in it for you? One is let's grow together. And if you registered for this event, whether you're tuned in now or going to be listening later, we will be sending you updates as these events unfold. You'll get invited to these events. We want you to spread the word. And we just simply want to grow together. So I want to thank Andrea at Be Local for signing on early, the team, Lisa and Rocio and Sebastian at the Conscious Capitalism LA chapter. You guys were in early, and I really, really appreciate that. I know I'm learning a ton from getting to work with you guys as we put this together. And then, of course, Heath with Good Must Grow, and all of you that are tuning in. Thank you so much for being part of this. Stay tuned for more information. And again, thanks to our co-creators for signing on. Andrea or Lisa, any closing comments?
We are just so excited to do this with all of you. And thank you so much for the partnership. We can't wait to see what an impact we create together.
Yeah, I would just second that. Excited to see what happens, and excited to see how this summit grows. We have more opportunities to reach more people. Thank you, Terry, for inviting us.
And I popped in at the end, Rocio. Just wanted to say I'm super excited. And I think the key here is together and collaboration. And I think that's one thing that our audience has always been excited. They meet people that they can collaborate with. And that's the whole point, right? How do we actually use the collective force for good? And so I'm excited we'll be able to do this even more so now. Thanks, Terry.
Love it. Thanks, everybody. Stay tuned.
Bye.